friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea and today we are doing a little bit of a book unhaul slash mini bookshelf tour. I don't know, I am a little bit under the weather, but we're going to power through. Will I finish Bookmas or will Bookmas finish me? Only time will tell. But we're doing a little bit of a unhaul from my read shelf as well as from my unread physical TBR cart, because as I jump into the new year, I kind of just want like a clean slate and I don't want to feel like too bogged down in the books that I want to read from my physical TBR. Like I want to be excited and like know that I'll get to those books in the next year or two and not feel like, wow, I've had these books sitting on my shelf for a long time and I feel pressure or guilty that I haven't read them yet. Like I just don't want that in my life. So we're going to do a little bit of a purge. We're going to start on the read shelf first, and I'll kind of give you like a bookshelf tour as we go. And I don't think that there's going to be a lot on here that I want to part with, but we'll go through anyways and see if there's some things that we can either donate or sell on Pango. I will leave my Pango store in the description box down below in case you want to shop any of the books that I am currently unhauling. So let's go ahead and start over on this side. I'm going to readjust the camera and then we'll have a better idea of like what we're looking at here. Okay, as I had mentioned, I don't think there's a ton on here that we are going to unhaul. This is my Sarah J. Maas shelf and we're not unhauling any of those. I will say if I'm unhauling it, it's because I don't see myself like rereading it in the future or like letting other friends borrow it. If I don't see myself rereading it or loaning it out to a friend or giving it to a friend at some point, like I think it's gonna go, because I want my shelves to be like the books that I absolutely love and will recommend and reread throughout my life. So that's kind of where I'm aiming for this. Okay, so nothing from the Sarah J. Maas shelf, obviously, and this is the Cassandra Clare shelf. There's nothing we're donating from that except for maybe this copy of City of Ashes. I think I accidentally got this at the library book sale and I didn't realize it didn't match the rest of my spines. Like I have all of the cityscape spines. So I think I'm going to give this back to the library so they can sell it at the next library book sale, because I don't need it and it's not in that great of shape. I don't know, I think once I brought it home I was like, oh, that could be fun to like collect these as well. I just don't think I'm going to do it, so we're going to part with this one. Okay, the next shelf, I also don't think I have anything that I'm going to donate here. I am missing my copy of Alchemized because I let someone borrow that. And my son leaves little trinkets on my shelf, which I think is so fun. But nothing here that I'm ready to part with right now. For now. We'll see. Okay, let's move on. All right, this is the bottom shelf of the fantasy section, I would say. The bottom shelf is actually contemporary fiction, historical fiction. So we've got two more shelves of fantasy. I am considering parting with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. The only reason why I'm hesitating is because these are the, like, I don't want to say original covers. Like, this is not the tie-in to Netflix edition, and I don't like the covers of the Netflix tie-in, so I kind of feel like maybe I should keep these just because they are the original. I think this is the second version, but I don't know. I'm not like obsessed with that series, but I do loan it out to friends, so that's kind of why I'm keeping it on my shelf for now. And then I don't think there's anything here that I am going to part with either. Wow, I'm really not doing a great job at unhauling these books, am I? Okay, and I think on the bottom shelf, I don't know, it's hard for me to part with some of these books. Okay, and some of these are not mine, some of them are my husband's. I think, am I going to reread this book? I don't think so. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I don't remember really loving this book very much. I think I just have it because it seems like one of those books that you should have on your shelf. But I don't know if I really love this book. I don't see myself rereading it. We might be parting with this one. And then I think I actually am considering unhauling this one too. Little Fires Everywhere. I had a friend borrow this book and she gave it back to me like 3 years later and I forgot she had it. Like, it was not important to me. I don't think this is like my taste anymore. My tastes have changed over time, so I think I might donate this one as well. Okay, this middle shelf is like my collector's editions and my sprayed edges and like my special editions, and then we've got the classics down here. I'm not going to part with any of these. This is my Tahara Mafi Shatter Me shelf. Nothing is being unhauled here. It's a favorite of mine, so we're gonna keep those. And then I think down here we're gonna keep all of these as well. The City We Became is a duology, I think, and I have the second book and I just haven't read it yet, but I need to get to it, so we're leaving it there. And then I love all of these other books on the shelf. I actually don't love Lord of the Rings, but those are my husband's, so we're keeping them there. Okay, now we're moving on to the romance side of the bookshelf, and I do have a few on this side that I am going to unhaul, and we're gonna start with The Royal We. I read this book, I think when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a great time reading this book, but I did not love the sequel, like, at all. I just don't see myself, like, going back and rereading this knowing what happens in book 2, so I think we're gonna pass this on to someone else who might really enjoy it. Okay, I think it's so funny because this shelf is very colorful and the fantasy shelf is like all dark, but we do have Ali Hazelwood's Bride and Mate on this shelf because they are romances, but they really don't belong here. We are obviously keeping these, and I believe I'm keeping everything else on this shelf as well, so let's move down to the lower half of this shelf. Okay, I actually did an unhaul, I don't know, a few months ago, I want to say, and I had thought about unhauling this one book, and I didn't then, and I think I'm going to unhaul it now. And that is Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I just don't think I'm going to read this series. I read this book and I read the second book, and I just did not love it. I don't know if it's for me. The writing style just didn't work for me, so that's why I'm going to pass on it. I think if it was just these characters, I would continue because I do know that there are other books in the series that follow different characters, but the writing just wasn't it for me, so I think I'm going to pass on this series. We're not going to bring this into 2026. I also think I'm going to unhaul Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I really enjoyed this book. And I read this whole series this year and had a great time, but I'm not like a cowboy romance girly, and this is very like out of my normal genre, which is totally fine. I had a good time, but I just don't see myself rereading this, and my book club already read it, so I already like gave it to those that I think would read it. They've already read it too, so like I have no purpose for this on my shelf anymore, so we're gonna pass it on to somebody else who might really enjoy it. I think the rest of this shelf is staying. These are not my books. These are borrowed from a coworker a really long time ago. So I need to get them back to that person, but they are living on the shelf for now and they're just gonna stay there. I kind of like don't pay attention to them. And I think everything on this bottom shelf also stays. This is my YA romance shelf, one of my favorites. I do really love YA romance, and I think my tastes are changing for sure, but there are some like tried and true favorites here that I keep going back to and reread, so we're keeping everything here. The only one I'm considering unhauling is Meet Me Under the Lights. Wow, this copy got warped. This book isn't even out yet. It comes out in March and I've already read it, and I also have it on my Kindle, so I don't need to keep the arc anymore. I think I could pass it on to someone who would really love this. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. It was such a fun time, but I don't think I'm the target audience for this. Like, someone who's younger would probably love this even more than me, so maybe this needs to go to a new home of someone who would really love it. I think this would be perfect for a little free library donation. There are more YA romances on this shelf, and these are some of my favorites. I think the only one that I might part with is If He Had Been With Me. I liked that book. I mean, that book was emotional. I don't think I'll reread it. And I don't know if any of the people that I normally loan books out to would actually read this book, so I think we might part with this one. I think I found it at the library book sale for like $1, and it's in great condition, but I just don't know if I need it on my shelves because I don't see myself rereading this. Okay, now we are moving on to the hard part, which is my unread TBR shelf, and I had been going back and forth whether I was going to make this unhaul because I kind of was like, oh, let me give myself a year to like read as many of these as possible, but I know that there are books on this shelf that I will not read in the next year, nor would I like want to keep on my shelf for multiple years if I haven't read them. So we are going to do this unhaul. I will say the top shelf is like mostly newer books. I do, however, have a duplicate copy. I have an ARC of the Hollow Hunt, and I also have a finished copy of the Hollow Hunt. So one of these will be passed along, and we'll clear one off the shelf. So I feel great about that. So for the rest of these books on the two bottom shelves, I think I'm just going to turn the card around because I do think all of the books on the front side are going to stay except for one. So it'll be easier if I clear out the back to get these books out because they are a little bit difficult, to be honest. The cart is stunning, but it is a little bit hard to get it around and get books out of this, unfortunately. So, okay, let's start on this second half. I'm keeping this book. Keeping this one. I really want to read this series. It's just sitting in the back, and I think I forget about the books that are in the back of here. So I am going to part with these two books. The Key to My Heart by Leah Louise. I really liked a book by her, Dear Emmy Blue. I think that's what it was called. But I've had this on my shelf for like 3 years and I haven't read it. So we're going to move that along. And then I think I'm going to pass on The Magicians as well. I think I bought this at the library book sale or found it at a little free library because I wanted to try out the TV show, and I just don't think I'm going to read the series. And if I do in the future, I will get the book again or get it from the library, but I don't need it sitting in my cart because this is a like 5-book series or something, and it hasn't grabbed me yet. And I did start the TV show. I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and I was not that into it. So if I'm not that into the show, I'm not gravitating towards this. So we're going to pass this one along as well. Okay, we're making a little bit of progress. Not great, but something. All right, from the bottom half, I do think that there are a few books on here that we are going to part with. We're going to start with A Match Made in Hell. I think the publisher sent this to me and I missed reading it in October, and I think if we go another year, like, we're just not going to read this book, and I think I can pass it along to like a younger person who might really enjoy this story. A Man Called Uwe is definitely being read in 2026. I cannot believe I still haven't read that book. See, these books are so hard to get out in the back. Okay, I think The Once and Future Witches is going to be passed along. I think this book was on a TBR earlier in the year and I just never gravitated toward it. I think I started it and then didn't get very far and was not interested, and then I never picked it up for the rest of the year. So I think we're gonna pass on this one. If you really loved this book, tell me in the comments. I'm totally fine getting it from the library. I just don't think I need this on my shelf, making me feel guilty that I haven't picked it up yet. And then I have a couple more down here that I am definitely going to part with. I have The Candy House. This is just not my style. I don't remember where I got this book, how I got this book, but I still haven't picked it up after a couple of years. We're passing it along. And then I have The Witch's Daughter, which I think was also sent to me by a publisher, and I think I was like, oh, that looks interesting, maybe I'll get into that. Never happened. I don't think that this type of witch book is for me. It's just not my style, so we're gonna pass this one along as well. All right, that clears up quite a few books off the back of this cart, which is great. I mean, it's not looking fantastic, but it's looking a little bit better. I'll show you. So now we have like a little bit more than half full, but it's looking better than it was before. Let's go ahead and turn this cart around, and then we'll talk about a couple books on the front that I might part with. Okay, I think there's only one book on here that I am ready to part with because I want to give some of these others a shot. And some of these books, I've had on my TBR for so long and I haven't read them, but I have high hopes. And we'll do another unhaul at the end of next year. If I haven't read them this year and I had planned on reading them this year, they're going to go because I'm not going to read them at that point. But I am going to part with Pretend You're Mine by Lucy Score. I just don't think I'm the biggest Lucy Score fan. I think I found this at the library book sale for like $1 and I was really excited, but her romances are too long for me. This one is almost 500 pages. Like, that's ridiculous. And I just don't love her writing style. And I have to be okay with that. Like, it's fine to not love everyone. So we're gonna send this back to the library and they can make another $1 off of somebody else. Okay, I think that's it for my unhaul. Let's see how many books we unhauled today. I'm feeling like lighter. I'm feeling better. 4 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 books we unhauled today. That feels incredible. I don't feel like it was too much. Like, I feel like I still have obviously so many books to read and so many books that I love on my shelf. Like, everything still feels full, which maybe that's the problem. Things were too full. Things were too much. And sometimes it's good to just like clean your slate, to get rid of a little bit of that like guilt and anxiety. We should never have that, but sometimes I do, because I like to check things off. I like to have a to-do list. And if things aren't moving off that checklist, like, I feel anxiety about it. And that's how I felt about my TBR cart. So I feel really good going into 2026 with this TBR cart the way it is. I'm very excited about the books that are on here, and I'm excited to feel like if I don't want to read something, just pass it along. It's totally fine. Like, I don't need to feel guilty about not liking a book or passing on a book that I haven't read if it's just not going to happen for me, or if I'm not interested in it anymore, because our tastes change, we mature, we grow, and that's totally fine. So I'm feeling really good about this. As I mentioned, I will post my Pango account in the description box down below in case you're interested in any of the books that I unhauled today. I will probably try to sell some of these if they are in good condition. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one soon. Bye!